This is a special report from MTN News. President Donald Trump's Montana visit.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this special presentation on MTN. I'm Tim McGonigal. Today, President Donald Trump makes a visit to Big Sky Country. He'll be holding a campaign rally in Great Falls where thousands are battling the heat in hopes of hearing and seeing the Commander-in-Chief. Air Force One, as you can see, has landed in Great Falls, and soon President Trump will be departing the plane and making the trip to Montana Expo Park, where he is expected to speak in front of a crowd of several thousand people. We're told about 6,600 is the capacity of Montana Expo Park. I'm told now that we do have Samantha Harrelson from MTN station KTVQ standing by live now to tell us more about the president's arrival in Great Falls. Samantha?
Well, hi, Tim. Yes, the Air Force One just landed here in Great Falls, and the president will be deplaning shortly. Of course, with him is Senator Daines and Representative Greg Gianforte. Both of them made the flight from D.C. with him today.
You can see now President Donald Trump, 45th President of the United States, making his way down, and he is now on the ground in Great Falls, and we'll soon get into that vehicle and head to the Four Seasons Arena.
A lot of energy in the air here at the Four Seasons Arena. There's every once in a while you just hear people getting riled up and starting to cheer. We've seen Secret Service come up to the stage to check things out from there. We've heard from various GOP members in Montana. We also heard a Darby woman, Brooke DeVries, sing the national anthem here. Everyone's singing along with them as well. When we arrived, Mike, the line was near Buffalo Wild Wings. It was wrapping all the way around. It was quite a sight when we pulled up to see the presence, the energy of the people here.
And also, we look around, the arena is really not quite yet full. I mean, I was told about a half hour ago they're going to maybe open some additional doors to get more people in here. There's still a lot of people outside waiting to get in. The president's going to be here, what, 5-10 minutes from now? Pretty soon.
Coming down the Northwest Bypass in Great Falls, and there you see the motorcade making its way again to the Montana Expo Park at the Cascade County Fairgrounds. A lot of people lining up along the side of the street there to get their shot at that picture of the president's motorcade coming through. There he is, President Donald J. Trump waving to the crowd. This is the moment that these thousands of people have been waiting for, snapping those pictures and talking to the president.
Well, thank you, Montana. What a place. What a place. What a place. And it's great to be here tonight with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Thank you. Because Tester doesn't share your values. John Tester showed his true colors with his shameful, dishonest attacks on a great man, a friend of mine, a man that I said, why don't you run the VA? You'd be great. Navy Admiral Ronnie Jackson.
All right, you have been listening to President Donald J. Trump's Make America Great Again rally speech at the Four Seasons Arena in Great Falls. Jonathan did get a chance to talk to some protesters who were at the rally today. Let's hear from Jonathan.
Here at Montana's Expo Park, there was a protest area set aside outside Four Seasons Arena for people who wanted to show their opposition during President Trump's visit. The protesters raising issues like their concern about what they call hateful rhetoric coming from the president. There are also many people here supporting Senator John Tester for re-election. The
motorcade is now making its way back to the Montana Air National Guard, where President Trump will board Air Force One and then will depart and will take off for Newark, New Jersey for his next stop.
President Trump making his way off of Air Force One. Of course, he is joined by Senator Steve Daines and Congressman Greg Gianforte as they make their way off Air Force One and onto the ground here in Billings, Montana.
President Donald Trump just touched down moments ago at Billings Logan International Airport. He is now on the road here in Montana, headed his way to Metro Park.
Second time in 2 months that the president comes to Montana. This is a big, important Senate race for the nation, really.
It really is. I mean, the Democrats are looking like they might take the House. That's what all the pundits are saying. So the president and Republicans really want to shore up the Senate and say, we need to keep control of this and keep our agenda going. And that's what the president, I think, is going to be talking about a lot tonight. And say, look what we've done, look what I've done in tax cuts, the economy. I want to reset the discussion to talk about my successes, my agenda, and going forward as well.
Stop Kavanaugh. Journalists are not the enemy. America is great. Well, just some of the signs seen entering Metro Park this afternoon. Protesters lined up outside the Metro entrance near 4th Avenue North and Main Street. Many seem to be individuals not with any particular group. Now, some talked about their concerns with the Trump administration.
We're tired of the misogyny and bigotry and attacks against the LGBTQ community, and we want Mr. Trump to be aware that that's not acceptable to a lot of the citizens of Billings.
I think President Trump is a fascist and a racist, and I don't think he's good for the United States of America. And I think it's my duty to protest him.
He's trying to take away a lot of worker rights and worker benefits, and he wants more for himself and his family and for his rich benefactors, is what I call them.
Now, the protesters told us they hope President Trump saw them at the entrance tonight, and they stayed through the rally.
Tell us about the rally, your reaction to it.
Well, it was a beautiful scene. It was a great evening. And as you know, Matt Rosendale is a fantastic person. That's why I'm doing it. I know how good he is. He's got a great heart. I hated to see what John Tester did to the Admiral. We have an Admiral who's a world-class human being, and they lied about him, and they demeaned him, and they defamed him. And they, you know, a normal person, I would say they ruined him, and he'll be fine. But what they did to him was horrible, what they did to his family. I sort of call welcome to the world of politics, but it shouldn't be that way. But what Tester did to him was a terrible thing, terrible, terrible thing. So I came here for Matt, and he's a terrific person, really a terrific person. He'll be a great senator for Montana.
President Donald Trump makes his third visit to the state. He will host a rally in Missoula in just about an hour at Minuteman Aviation, which will be the first time in 64 years that a sitting president has set foot in the Garden City. We have staff stationed across Missoula and bring you live coverage of this event with reporters at Minuteman Aviation and outside the venue where supporters have been lining up throughout the day, and we'll bring you coverage from wheels down to wheels up of Air Force One. President Trump departed Joint Base Andrews in Washington, D.C. from Missoula just after 2 this afternoon. And the Missoula stop is the first of 3 Make America Great Again rallies in western states, with stops in Arizona and Nevada later this week.
This has been a very festive crowd. Thousands of people were lined up early this morning to make sure they got a seat to either campaign or celebrate President Trump or just be here for a historic event. We have not had a president in Missoula in the past 64 years, so some folks are here for that. The mood here has been very festive. Lots of cheers went up earlier. Matt Rosendale walked through the crowd shaking hands. We know also that Steve Daines is here as well, and we do anticipate Air Force One landing shortly. What's exciting for the folks here is that generally they're in an off-site venue and they don't get to see the plane land. It's going to land behind us, so they're going to be a part of that as well.
While supporters of President Trump gather for the evening's event, others are voicing their protest. One of the most visible signs of protest can be seen high above Missoula on Mount Jumbo, where anti-Trump protesters added some extra letters to the L. The word liar is now spelled out on Mount Jumbo. Jonathan Ambarian continues our coverage now live from the protest. Jonathan?
Now, what organizers have said is that this was an attempt to get people to channel their energy into action, and in this case, they're talking about voting. Throughout the day, they had a bus carrying people down to the fairgrounds where they could register to vote. They could turn in absentee ballots. So right now, they're going out towards the fairgrounds. They're planning on standing out there and surrounding the polls, and that's going to be going on for the next half hour or so. In Missoula, I'm Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Not all of the action is contained to the Minuteman hangar. The crowd has spilled over to the area outside the venue, and Connor McCauley joins us now live with our portion of that coverage. Connor?
We are down here where people are lining up to board buses to go down to Minute Aviation to see the president talk here in Missoula. A lot of people have talked about how excited they are to be around a lot of like-minded people where they can conversate with themselves in peace.
You know, Missoula usually leans a little bit left, so why does President Trump choose Missoula to come on a visit here?
So Of course, I'm not a White House employee, but I'm going to tell you that probably this has a lot more to do with the market that Missoula serves in the broadcast arena. So it reaches all the way up to the Flathead and all the way down to Ravalli. And those are two counties that are really critical to the Republican turnout effort that they're trying to get this election. So it may have as much to do with getting people excited throughout western Montana as it does Missoula itself.
President Trump spoke for 70 minutes Thursday night, giving an aggressive pitch to Montanans to vote out Senator Jon Tester.
He hit on many familiar themes, from taxes to immigration to the Supreme Court, and one very unexpected one about Montana's Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte.
Democrats have become the party of crime. It's true.
President Trump didn't waste much time firing up the partisan crowd of several thousand people, castigating Democrats for their treatment of Supreme Court nominee and now Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
And come Election Day, Americans will remember Kavanaugh, and they will remember all sorts of other things because that was a shameful act.
He also made it personal against Senator Tester, saying he especially wanted to come to Montana to help defeat him after Tester aired accusations that sunk Trump's VA nominee, Ronnie Jackson, this spring.
He was attacked so viciously, so violently by Jon Tester like I've never seen before. True. All lies, all made up stuff.
Trump didn't bring out Tester's opponent, Republican Matt Rosendale, until a half hour into the speech.
Jon Tester has been too wrong for too long. We can't let Jon Tester and the radical liberal resistance win this November. If they win, they'll go after President Trump and his agenda. We can't let that happen.
But shortly before that, the president praised Congressman Gianforte for body slamming a reporter on the night before Gianforte's election last year.
Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind of...
He also brought the crowd to a roaring approval with tough talk about securing the border.
And we will keep the criminal drug dealers and terrorists the hell out of our country.
We heard a pretty raw red meat appeal from the president Thursday night to vote for Republicans in Montana this election, with barely a nod to the middle. In just 2.5 weeks, we'll find out if that translates into victory at the polls. Reporting from Missoula, Mike Dennison, MTN News. I didn't think it was as raucous as the other rallies. We still had a lot of people here, 4,000 to 5,000 people here, but the applause sometimes seemed a little bit polite rather than enthusiastic.
All right, thanks, Mike. And you guys can tune in at 10 o'clock where we'll have more on the coverage from today's rally. And for now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Mike Dennison. And thanks to you for watching. You've been watching live coverage of President Donald Trump's visit to Belgrade and Bozeman, here his 4th trip to the state of Montana. Gentlemen, thanks to all of you for stopping by and giving your commentary as well. And of course, don't forget MTN News at 5:30 and again at 10 o'clock. We'll provide live coverage or complete coverage for you then. We'll see you then.